Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 at 10.
Along with the AR-15.
He liked to have weapons, but he never acted like he would hurt anyone.
It was like pow, pow, pow.
He aimed his gun at us, and then he fired at least 2 or 3 shots.
And then it pow, 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 pow.
The deceased shooter from this morning has been identified as 34-year-old Aaron Alexis of Fort Worth, Texas.
The Aaron that I knew, it just wasn't him.
A reservist turned contractor, a Buddhist, now an accused mass murderer.
Tonight, the Fort Worth man behind the deadly shootings at the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C., and hints of a possible motive. Good evening, I'm Gloria Campos.
I'm John McKay. 34-year-old former Navy reservist Aaron Alexis died in the shootout. 12 others were killed in the rampage. 14 were hurt. Alexis is believed to have acted alone.
Now, we have complete coverage tonight. Jason Whiteley learned about a possible motive. Monica Diaz is in Washington, D.C., but we begin tonight with Marie Saavedra in Fort Worth with Alexis's former roommate, who you will see only on News 8 tonight. Marie?
Gloria, over the past few hours, federal investigators have been interviewing Melinda Downs at the Fort Worth home that she used to share with Alexis, a man tonight she fears she never really knew.
Imagine learning someone you loved like family was suspected in a mass shooting in the nation's capital. Then you would feel the pain of Melinda Downs.
It's not even in his character. I can't say it's not in his... the character that I knew of him, it's just not to me.
She's still trying to reconcile that Aaron Alexis, her roommate, who felt more like a son, could have killed so many. Things sounded fine the last time she talked with him, just a few days ago.
He was letting us know where he was. He said he was in Washington. He didn't know how long he was going to be there. He said he was okay.
But hindsight has her questioning everything, like the times he talked to her about PTSD.
And I would be like, would you just, when you feel like you're, going through or whatever, just talk to us. Don't close yourself off.
Or his temper.
I mean, I've seen him mad, but not murder mad. A lot of times when Aaron was upset, he become withdrawn.
And the fact that she says he always had a weapon on him.
He said that being in the military, he just felt naked without it.
The last time Downs saw Alexis was when she says he left Fort Worth for work 1 month ago. Now she's replaying their final conversation.
The last thing I told him to do was get some rest. Because he had been going and going, and I say, Aaron, get some rest.
Wondering what she could have said to keep today's horror from happening.
Alexis was working as an IT subcontractor for a company that's associated with Hewlett-Packard and was in D.C., we understand, working on some equipment for the Navy's intranet system. Live tonight in Fort Worth, Marie Saavedra, Channel 8 News.
All right, Marie. Aaron Alexis has an arrest history involving guns in both Fort Worth and Seattle. No charges were ever filed in either of those cases. Now, the most violent was in June of 2004. He was arrested for malicious mischief in Seattle. Police say that he shot out a construction worker's tires in an anger-fueled blackout. His father told police his son suffered from PTSD after helping with rescue efforts in New York City on 9/11. Today, agents searched a home in Seattle. Alexis once lived there. Some of his relatives were told reportedly still do.
Tonight, investigators aren't just focusing on Fort Worth and D.C. They're also in New York, where Alexis's brother-in-law had this to say tonight.
No one ever mentioned anything about him being aggressive or being this type of way or anything like that. They were very distraught, very stressed out, tears, they just didn't see it coming. It's very hurtful.
Law enforcement officers were seen searching a house in Brooklyn where Alexis once lived, and members of his family still reside. Meanwhile, friends of Alexis in Fort Worth are hinting at what may have motivated him. Channel 8's Jason Whiteley is live with that part of the story. Jason?
Gloria, right now we spent this evening learning specifics about the shooter, more about the man when he lived right here in Tarrant County, what he did from those he did it with. All day, White Settlement watched Washington, D.C. in disbelief.
He just didn't seem like he would be that kind of person that would be that upset enough to go out and do something like this. So that's why we're confused.
The suspected mass shooter, Aaron Alexis, lived with Christy Sutuntewakun and her husband here.
I actually believe that he did that anyway. So he's not that kind of guy to kill people.
The couple runs Happy Bowl Thai restaurant in White Settlement. They said Alexis enjoyed football, sang karaoke, and loved Thai food.
He loved Thailand. Oh, yeah. He had like 400 pictures to show us when he got back.
Alexis left the Navy in 2011. The reason why is unclear. But he had trouble getting paid by a contractor, got behind on bills, and Christy revealed something else.
He just was upset with the government about all that and just very, he just felt slighted by his benefits and by what he was getting each month.
3 years ago, while cleaning his pistol in this apartment complex, Alexis fired a bullet through the ceiling in his apartment. No one got hurt, and prosecutors never charged him. We learned Alexis also often meditated at this Buddhist temple in Keller. Monks there complimented him, said he served their food often, but recalled he had a broken heart because of a Thai girlfriend. All recent pieces of Alexis's life, none, though, immediately revealing a motive to Monday's massacre. Alexis was last stationed at the Joint Reserve Base here in Fort Worth. And as you just heard Marie say a few moments ago, after leaving the Navy, his friends said he would always carry a pistol in his waistband, but his friends thought he did so legally with a concealed handgun license. Reporting live in Fort Worth, Jason Whiteley, Channel 8 News.
Dozens gathered in Washington's Freedom Plaza for a candlelight vigil, remembering the victims and praying for the wounded. The plaza is just 1 block from the White House.
And within the hour, officials in Washington held a briefing saying they've lifted the shelter-in-place order. Tonight, we're also learning more about the victims in the shooting. Channel 8's Monica Diaz is live tonight in Washington, D.C. with more. Monica?
John, we now know Aaron Alexis got into the yard with a valid pass. Investigators have been working all night trying to identify the dead. Only 7 people have been identified. All of the victims who were killed are contract and civilian workers, ages 46 to 73 years of age. It's a dark night in the district, and tonight many are asking tough questions about security. In the heart of the nation's capital, near the Navy Yard, streets remain shut down. Inside the perimeter, the scene of one of the deadliest shootings in the district. 12 people went to work in Building 197 but never made it home to their families. Another 14 left wounded or injured.
I heard 3 shots. Pow, pow, pow.
The suspected shooter, Aaron Alexis of Fort Worth, didn't survive. He was killed in a shootout with police. Hours after the rampage, we now know he acted alone.
So we do now feel comfortable that we have the single and sole person responsible.
Detectives are working on a motive, but they know Alexis was armed with at least 2 guns. The Navy veteran was an employee of a company called The Experts, a subcontractor to HP Enterprise Services.
Is how someone, whatever his badge, managed to get a high-powered gun into one of the most secure facilities in the District of Columbia.
The suspect's car was found near the scene. It's being processed by the FBI tonight. We're live in Washington, D.C. tonight. Monica Diaz, Channel 8 News.
President Obama ordered flags to fly at half-staff through Friday in honor of the victims he called patriots.
The dangers of serving abroad, but today they face the unimaginable violence that they wouldn't have expected here at home.
Tonight, the White House released this picture showing President Obama receiving the news in the Oval Office.
Today's tragedy has shaken victims at Fort Hood, as you might imagine. It was nearly 5 years ago when Major Nidal Hassan opened fire on the Army post. He killed 13 people, injured 32. He's now on military death row at Fort Leavenworth. The government has classified those shootings as workplace violence, which has angered victims and their families. We ask you to stay with News 8 for continuing coverage of the Navy Yard shootings. We'll bring you the latest online at WFAA.com and on the air starting tomorrow morning on News 8 Daybreak from 4:30 to 7.
7 months after the murder of the man known as the most lethal sniper in American military history, his accused killer is about to go on trial. Today, a judge set an October 21st trial date for Eddie Routh. Routh, of course, was in chain. He was sporting a beard when he appeared. He's accused of killing former Navy SEAL Chris Kyle and a friend of Kyle's, Chad Littlefield, in February. Germany is urging the United Nations to take action against Syria tonight after scientific experts confirmed that for the first time Syria did use chemical weapons. UN inspectors say there is clear and convincing evidence that sarin was used in a large-scale attack in Syria last month. The U.S. quickly blamed President Assad's government. Under a deal reached this weekend, Syria must inventory its chemical weapons within a week. If it breaks the deal, the U.S. says a military strike is still on the table.
Locally tonight, the Louisville City Council told city staff to move forward on plans to spend $3 million to fix a stinky situation. A stench is coming from the city's Prairie Creek wastewater treatment plant. It's been around for 3 years, they tell us, mostly on hot, humid days. It was originally blamed on smelly sewers and old pipes, but last year, a study finally pinpointed the source, and now they'll upgrade the plant's equipment. The surprise of a lifetime for a North Texas woman who is fighting for her own life. She wanted nothing more than to see her favorite team, the Aggies, take on Bama last weekend, but she got so much more than that. Here's Channel 8's Teresa Woodard.
It was just magical.
And uplifting and invigorating and unplanned.
I don't even know how I didn't find out about this. That's what's so crazy.
Shannon Underwood is battling for her life. Husband Clay is right beside her. She has Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer. It's back for the 4th time in 3 years.
I'm like, I can't give up.
A trip back to their alma mater sounded like good therapy, so they decided to road trip and tailgate at Texas A&M versus Alabama.
Life is now. You live every single moment to the fullest that you possibly can. And for me, it fills my heart with joy to be in my favorite college town in the entire nation. And it's where most of my memories, the best memories of my life are in College Station.
Even better now, thanks to a single post on an Aggie alumni website. A friend asked where Shannon and Clay should tailgate. And soon Aggies did what Aggies do.
That's all right.
They gave tickets, sideline passes, a shopping spree, dinner, and donations. $12,000. Everything raised within hours. And the cash hasn't stopped coming in yet.
If for 8 or 10 hours we didn't think about cancer.
That really is what the 12th man is about, is just getting in and holding up a fellow Aggie when they can't hold themselves up.
Aggies take care of their own.
They really do.
Doctors tell Shannon she's got a 30% chance of surviving. She's keeping the faith that fellow Aggies just restored. Teresa Woodard, Channel 8 News.
It looks like a scene from Spain, but it's not. The running of the bulls taking America and soon North Texas by storm. We'll check out the first great bull run.
Later, the Cowboys collapse against the Chiefs. What their coach says needs to change, and now.
Well, it's what we've all been waiting for. Rain and cooler temperatures. It's all on the way. I'll tell you when it will arrive. Coming up.
If you've ever fantasized about running with the bulls in Pamplona, Spain, then you'll love a new event coming to North Texas. You can test your nerve against a charging pack of bulls, that is, if you don't mind the protesters, and signing a promise not to sue. Before it arrives in Ennis, Channel 8's Jim Douglas went to Virginia for what promoters call the first great bull run.
Welcome, everyone, to Virginia Motor Sports Park. We are the premier drag racing facility of the Commonwealth of Virginia. But today, folks, it's all about the Great Bull Run.
Thousands more than anyone expected pour into a drag strip in Petersburg, Virginia for the first great bull run.
Right on target!
Well, it's an adrenaline rush. Why wouldn't you want to do this?
They wear their bravado, and sometimes little else.
But I figured I'd blend in with the bulls. That way I'm completely safe.
This bull runner manages a restaurant, and you guessed it.
It is a steakhouse.
Most say this is the closest they will ever get to running with bulls in Pamplona, so they eagerly sign away their right to sue and wait to face these guys.
Tombstone is the red bull with the long horns.
Oh my gosh, Tombstone.
One bull is named Hammerlane.
He will hammer you. He will run over your butt.
Preston Folks says some of his rodeo bulls weigh up to 1,700 pounds. Instead of narrow Spanish streets, the bulls and a few steers charged down a straightaway line by fences that offer daredevils an escape.
From those that run, to those who fall,
500 at a time lift their bandanas and recite their creed.
and honor the bull.
Fresh runners fill the track for run after run.
I almost pushed the girl in front of a bull, so that was kind of scary.
They celebrate survival
Let's go!
with a massive
Tomatoes coming from everywhere.
tomato fight. The Tomato Royale is also based on Spanish tradition. Next April, promoters plan to bring this spectacle to Texas Motorplex in Ennis, one of 10 bull runs scheduled.
I mean, just look at how it goes in Spain. Everybody loves it.
Organizer Rob Dickens couldn't have been happier. On the other hand, animal rights protesters fumed at the edge of the property.
Even if I get 2, 3, 4, 5% of these people that come here, given the population, that's several hundred people that will not participate in these in the future, and that's where we declare victory.
More than 2,000 people have signed an online petition to cancel the bull run in Ennis. Organizers point out they lay down a thick layer of dirt to protect the animals' legs. It's up to humans to protect themselves.
This event could look quite different by the time it gets to North Texas. The promoter says he wants to add more thrills, maybe add a little more danger.
I don't want broken bones and bloodshed, but it is part of the event. It is something that we do expect to happen every now and then.
In Spain, dozens are hurt each year, and 15 runners have been killed since 1910, including a teenager this summer. But there, the bullhorns are sharp, and sometimes there is no place to hide.
All 24 down the pipe at the same time.
In the last run of the day at the Great American Bull Run, twice as many bulls rumbled down the track, 24 of them. When the dust settled, 2 runners were hurt, including one transported with non-life-threatening injuries. In Petersburg, Virginia, Jim Douglas, Channel 8 News.
Well, good evening again, everyone. I'm Pete Delkus. A little bit of rain still across North Texas. Not much happening in the Metroplex, but as we look just to the north, Cook County, Montague County, right along then of 90 degrees.
Welcome back. Yeah, good to see you.
Hardest working man in TV, that's self-proclaimed.
Right,
takes the night off. I flew in from Montana to do the 10 o'clock news tonight, and Dale couldn't make it north from Waxahachie to do the news tonight.
Now, he might say that's because you don't have a life.
Well,
but that's probably his line,
may be
right?
True, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, the Cowboys need more than a life. They need a running game. Jason Garrett has been saying this for a couple weeks now. Maybe the Cowboys will listen after a loss. Run the ball, kids. But Spieth will become the youngest player to ever take part in the Tour Championship. Tiger Woods didn't even do it at that tender age. He's 20.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
He's on a roll, isn't he?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. Well, new information coming in tonight in the Navy Yard shooting. We'll have the very latest when we come back. Stay with us.
Now, the very latest on the Navy Yard shooting. Authorities will be working throughout the night trying to identify the dead. So far, they've only identified 7 of the 13 people who were killed. They are civilian contract workers. Also, we're learning more about the suspected gunman, Aaron Alexis of Fort Worth, and a possible motive. His roommate tells News 8 Alexis was upset with the government, feeling slighted about his benefits.
And tune in for the very latest overnight developments on News 8 Daybreak. Please join Ron and Cynthia starting at 4:30 a.m. Smartphone users whose contracts are not up are about to get an upgrade anyway. Starting this Friday, all 4 major wireless carriers reportedly will offer plans to customers wanting to upgrade their smartphones early. And that's when Sprint launches its One Up program, letting customers upgrade every year. AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile already have similar programs. Friday, by the way, is the launch date for the new iPhone, coincidentally.
Yeah, of course. Just a coincidence.
Right.
That's it for News 8 at 10 tonight.
And for more news, weather, and traffic anytime, we're always on at WFAA.com.
Good night.